Because we are true fighters.
Yeah, true fighters.
True fighters.
True, yeah, of course. No, not YouTuber fighters.
Huh?
Not YouTuber fighters. Yeah, of course.
They need to talk and talk shit about the fight because they want to say something. The people know we are great fighters and we're not good at great fights. Yeah. We don't need to talk
I am sure in the end in the mid of September we will have one of the greatest fights ever happen in boxing. And I am sure.
Canelo ALvarez versus Terence Crawford is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated fights in boxing history. Both are current champions and considered legends by their fans. But now, all eyes are on Crawford after he dropped fresh training footage. He looks quick, sharp, and totally locked in. His punches are clean, his footwork is solid, and his movement is smooth. Fans are fired up, saying Crawford is in peak condition as he gears up for what might be the biggest fight of his life. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. believes Canelo ALvarez holds a major edge over Terence Crawford. He pointed out that Canelo is naturally bigger and stronger, while Crawford hasn't been in this weight class long enough to truly compete at that level. In his view, Crawford doesn't have the kind of punching power that would make Canelo take a step back. Chavez Jr. said the fight is clearly tilted in Canelo's favor, maybe by as much as 80-20 or 70-30. He acknowledged Crawford's speed, but doubts it'll be enough to win. He also praised Canelo as a top-level fighter who always delivers in the ring. According to him, having Canelo's support is a big deal, especially with strong backing from Mexican fans and others worldwide. He also said he was surprised to see Jake Paul showing support for Canelo.
Canelo es muy fuerte, bueno y grande para Crawford. O sea, el tiempo que él tiene peleando en ese peso, yo Canelo 80-20, 70-30, Canelo, yo no veo de dónde Crawford le puede ganar.
Rapidez de Crawford.
Sí, o sea, rapidez de Crawford, pero no tiene la potencia como para Canelo lo respete.
Coach Bullet believes Terence "Bud" Crawford is the one fighter who can beat Canelo ALvarez right now, calling him a magician in the ring and more seasoned than names like Teofimo Lopez and Roy Jones Jr. He pointed out that Canelo's movement has slowed with age, and he's not as aggressive as he used to be. Bullet advised Crawford to avoid trading punches early on and instead turn the fight into a technical boxing match, where he can test Canelo's stamina in the later rounds and aim for a decision win, only going for a knockout if the chance is clear and safe.
Before, and I think you mentioned Bud was going to beat Canelo?
Yeah, like I said, Bud is a magician, like Teofimo and like Roddy, but just more seasoned than the both of those other two. Bud could do it if anybody could do it. At this age, Canelo's movement and mobility is not the same. He's not engaging like he did before, but I want to advise Bud to stand toe-to-toe with him. I would drag him into a boxing match and see his condition and his movement in the later rounds and try to win on points.
Coach Bullet also emphasized that Canelo ALvarez should not be underestimated at 168 pounds, calling him the king of the super middleweight division. He acknowledged that while Canelo's loss at 175 pounds exposed his limits at higher weights, he remains a serious threat at his natural weight. Bullet compared Canelo's controversial win over Erislandy Lara to his loss against Dimitri Bivol, saying Lara may have outboxed Canelo just like Bivol did. But Canelo still got the decision, possibly due to his strategy and name value. Despite the challenges, Bullet believes Crawford has a real chance and sees the fight as a true 50-50 battle.
Rules in a pound for pound at 168. We cannot take a Canelo at 168 lightly against Bud Crawford. You see what I'm saying? Canelo is the kingpin of 68. He may have lost at 75 trying to jump out the gym for greatness. You know what I'm saying? The Skull performance was, Skull is a mover, like the Irisani Lara. You know what I'm saying? Lara, to me, beat Canelo, and I feel like Skull really outpointed him, but because of the movement and the game plan ahead, they gave it to Canelo. You understand what I'm saying? So, Bud, I hope you could do it. Canelo that's his division. He was born to fight that weight, and it's just a tough one. But I will give Bud a fair shot. So it's a 50-50 fight.
During the face-off, Canelo ALvarez made it clear that this fight is between two real fighters, not social media personalities or entertainers. He emphasized that both he and Terence Crawford are true professionals who don't need trash talk to generate hype. Canelo said, while others might talk for attention, real boxing fans already know how high-level this matchup is. He believes the spotlight should be on skill, discipline, and respect for the sport, not drama. For him, it's all about delivering a great fight between two top athletes ready to prove themselves in the ring.
Because we are true fighters.
Yeah, two fighters.
True fighters.
True, yeah, of course. No, not YouTuber fighters.
Huh?
Not YouTuber fighters. Yeah, of course.
They need to talk and talk shit about the fight because they want to say something. The people know we are great fighters. They want to put a great fight.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk
I
shit
am sure in the end in the mid of September we will have one of the greatest fights ever happen in boxing, and I am sure.
Coach Bullitt explained that the only reason he slightly leans toward Canelo ALvarez over Terence Crawford is because of Canelo's natural size and bone structure at 168 pounds. He gave Crawford credit for his dominant win over Errol Spence, but noted that many believe Spence wasn't the same after his car accident, and that version of him may not have been elite. In Bullitt's opinion, this makes the upcoming fight Crawford's first real test against someone truly at the highest level. He added that while the fight would have been even bigger if it happened a few years ago, fans shouldn't underestimate how prepared Canelo will be, especially after his strong showing against William Skull.
That's my point about the bone structure at 168. See, pound for pound is a real thing. That bone structure is the only thing that's making me go 1% more to Canelo than Bud. You know what I'm saying? So, Bud is strong. They told me, before he fought Earl Spence, Bud's strong. You know, me, Bomac, and the other trainer was going, saying what we had to say to each other. And, he made a good name for himself fighting Earl Spence, but the world knows that's a C-level Earl Spence that he fought after the accident. So, this would be his first fight, really fighting somebody that on that level. I wish he was done a couple of years earlier, but hey, you can't count Canelo out at 68. And you think he's not going to be more than ready for Bud than he was?
Coach Bullitt concluded by saying that Terence Crawford is no longer driven by obsession and now approaches each fight with a unique strategy. He praised Floyd Mayweather's unmatched ring IQ, calling him a cerebral monster and one of the smartest fighters ever. Bullitt said it's unfair to compare Mayweather versus Canelo to Crawford versus Canelo because this is a completely different challenge on a different level. Still, he expressed happiness for both fighters securing a huge payday and said the matchup is great for Crawford's legacy. In his view, Crawford has truly earned the chance to face Canelo.
Terence got it's totally different styles of fights. Mayweather is a beast. He's a freaking cerebral monster in the ring. IQ is way farther than all these guys put together. So we can't compare that Canelo and Mayweather fight to a Bud Crawford and Canelo fight. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a different level for me, man. I just feel I love the fact that they're fighting for a big bag. I love that. I love they're both gonna be laughing to the bank. I love that for Bud Crawford's legacy. You know what I'm saying? And he earned it. He deserved it to fight.
Coron Davis offered his take on the Canelo ALvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown, sharing insight from having been in the ring with both. He said preparation will be key, especially with Crawford moving up to 168 pounds. Davis noted that Crawford has already been carrying more weight and is training hard to handle the jump, but Canelo still holds the clear advantage in experience at that weight, having fought there for years. He called the fight a chess match between two elite fighters, and while he praised Crawford's skill and high fight IQ, Davis admitted that Canelo's power and comfort at 168 could tip the scales. In the end, he leaned slightly toward Canelo as the favorite, but added that if anyone can pull off such a bold move, it's Terence Crawford.
Have you been in there with Crawford?
Yeah.
So you've been in there with Crawford, you've been there with Canelo. What can you take from sparring both of them to gauge what's gonna happen in September?
Preparation is gonna definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely gonna help him. Canelo experience. You got Crawford he got great experience as well. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally sits really well at 168, and it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from grab that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, if anybody could do it, it'll be Terence Crawford.
Sebastian Fundora shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight, saying he doesn't believe Terence Crawford will beat Canelo ALvarez. He feels Canelo's size and years of experience at 168 pounds give him a clear advantage. While Fundora called Crawford a great fighter, he said Canelo is simply more comfortable at that weight. He also mentioned that Canelo didn't look slow in his fight against John Ryder, just a bit off that night. Fundora reminded fans that May 31st will be a huge night for boxing, with both Crawford versus Canelo and Caleb Plant versus Jermall Charlo happening on the same card.
Crawford beats Canelo, and
I don't think so.
Why is that? Why do you?
This guy's more comfortable at 168. He's been fighting 168 for 4 or 5 years now. Crawford's a great fighter, but we'll see. Boxing, anything can happen.
Did it look like Canelo was slowing down against Skull?
No, I think it's just something he's uncomfortable with.
Mickey Bay offered a unique perspective and showed confidence in Terence Crawford's chances, saying Crawford doesn't need to bulk up too much for the fight. In Bay's view, Crawford should aim to stay between 165 and 168 pounds without exceeding that range, emphasizing that maintaining his speed and movement will be key to his performance in the ring.
And I wouldn't come heavy. In my opinion, I would come in at this is my opinion, I would come in at 65 and come in at the same weight for the fight.
Mickey Bay added that if Terence Crawford comes in around the 160s and maintains his sharpness and strong conditioning, he could have a real chance to outpoint Canelo. He referenced how Floyd Mayweather approached fighting at 154 pounds, choosing to stay close to his natural weight rather than bulking up. Bay believes Crawford should follow a similar strategy to keep his speed and edge in the ring.
He can come in at whatever, like Floyd, like 154. Yeah, Floyd can't get up to 180, but Floyd probably was in the walk around, he can get up to 60, 65, probably when he's not doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But when he trains, it's going to drop in the 50s. So basically, when Floyd in shape, he always in his 50s, 160 and down. So when he fought Canelo, he still ain't gained weight because he might have weighed 150 and weighed 150 on fight, not at 150.
Richardson Hitchens shared that Crawford might still find a way to win, even though he's not the same type of fighter as those who've beaten Canelo before, like Floyd Mayweather or Dimitri Bivol. He believes Crawford has the ring IQ and talent to create his own game plan without copying anyone. Known for being smart and strategic, Crawford just needs to stick to his style. However, Hitchens doesn't see a knockout happening. He pointed out that Canelo has never been stopped and questioned whether even someone as skilled as Crawford could be the first to do it.
Terence Crawford is one of the most craftiest dudes that Canelo gonna be in the ring with. Hand speed, IQ, long arms, speed, power. You know, switch hitter. I just think that it's gonna be.
Jermall Charlo explained that Terence Crawford shouldn't try to match Canelo in size, but instead focus on preserving what makes him special: his speed, movement, and ring intelligence. He warned that making too many changes just to adjust to a higher weight could backfire. Charlo believes that for Crawford to have a real shot at winning, he needs to stay true to his natural style and fight the way he knows best.
All right, my brother Canelo, not me. I like Crawford in this fight, and he gets to stay big. But my brother even told me that was his mistake that he made. He thought going up in weight, I gotta get massive, I gotta get big to beat Canelo. It made him slower, it made his reflexes slower. He'll tell you himself. It didn't feel like the Jermall Charlo that y'all seen him fight Tony Harris. Crawford, I feel like that's the same thing as that. You want to get big to try to absorb Canelo punches and all this, but that's not, technically, that's not the Crawford that we're gonna see. And then Crawford going up there to fight Canelo at 68, when he's not a 68 pounder, where's the motivation? Y'all gotta think about it like
Big
that.
Crawford is
Well, the money is good, but I don't expect Terence Crawford to be the Terence Crawford that was knocking out Gamboa, doing all. I don't expect that type of Terence Crawford.
But does it look Canelo?
I'm not picking either one of them.
Rolando Romero saw the matchup as completely one-sided, comparing it to Amir Khan's failed attempt against Canelo. In his view, the size difference is simply too big to overlook. He acknowledged Crawford's skill, but doesn't believe it will be enough to handle Canelo's power and physical strength. Romero predicted the fight would end quickly and decisively in Canelo's favor.
All the people who think Crawford would even have a single chance against Canelo, they're fucking stupid.
Broly, you have a way with words like nobody else.
No, bro. I hate it when people say that. They're fucking stupid.
Eddie Hearn offered a more skeptical take, focusing on Terence Crawford's career accomplishments. While he acknowledged Crawford's talent, he questioned whether Crawford has faced enough top-level opponents to be considered one of the all-time greats. Hearn highlighted Crawford's mention of Ricky Burns as a major win, using it to argue that although Crawford has been dominant, the overall level of competition he's beaten might not be enough to secure a legendary legacy.
Crawford's what, 36, 35,
37, turning 38.
You know? Like, and by the way, he's an outstanding fighter, but the problem is with Bud, and I said this to him on the flight, I said, you never got the chance to build an amazing resume because there was no one for you to fight. Like, I was like winding him up. I said, tell me your best win. He's like, Ricky Burns. That's what he said. Ricky Burns is my fighter, 3-division world champion. But I said, he was a great fighter, but he's not going to go down in history, Ricky Burns, as like an all-time great. You're telling me that was your best win? Well, Errol Spence, but even he acknowledges that Errol Spence, you know, was probably a little bit. And Bud could beat all the greats, but he never really got the chance, and that's why this fight's really important for him and to him. And after watching Canelo against Skull, and I know it was Skull, and I think he's the fresher guy in there, and I very rarely back against Canelo ALvarez, but it would not surprise me at all if Crawford won that.
Jose Benavidez Sr. shared a more negative outlook, predicting the fight will be boring. He believes Crawford will avoid direct exchanges and fight defensively, much like William Skull and Jermall Charlo did in their bouts against Canelo. In his view, Crawford won't take the necessary risks to really push Canelo, and because of that, the fight might fall short of the excitement fans are expecting.
He's a little guy, you know. He's coming up 2 divisions to fight Canelo ALvarez, and you think he's gonna go toe-to-toe with Canelo? Come on, man. You know, Terence Crawford's a great fighter, really good fighter. but that's too much weight for him. So he's gonna try to survive and move around and try to win the round. That's what's gonna happen. I think Canelo at the stage right now, his legs are not the same. You know, the body's not responding the same. So I think he's gonna have problems trying to catch Terence Crawford, to be honest with you. And I think it's gonna be the same fight. You know, I think it's gonna be a boring fight. It's gonna. I'm hoping that, you know, it's a little bit exciting because I heard that Canelo was the worst fight ever on pay-per-view to throw the less punches in history. So we're hoping to see a great fight, a good fight, but that matchup is not a matchup to be excited.
That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more updates. Got an opinion on the fight? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're listening.